Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have it's a little demerit from PSA. They got a little eager. They got a little excited to grade something that they shouldn't have graded. They got a little excited and I got embarrassed by the person that they were working with. Yeah, we're going to get into that today. So all you PSA live or die by the PSA fans, you're probably going to be the angry ones in the comment section in this one. Again, I don't use any of these grading companies. I do not trust their opinion more than my own. I feel no reason to pay money for a third-party opinion that is not a very good one, in my opinion. So here we go. Let's get the disclaimer out of the way. All you CGC and BGS fans and well, I guess that's about it now. There's only a few grading companies. You can go on about how your option is the best, but I'm here to tell you that none of these companies have been doing very good things recently. There's a lot of stuff going on that is just straight up not acceptable. Now, we got a little incident here. We have a nice Webinyama card, a 1/1, a very expensive card. And you guys might remember a certain Magic the Gathering 1/1 ring, certain cards that are very expensive. These grading companies will absolutely fight each other to the death over being able to grade this shit because they get to make fancy posts. That's sick. It's free advertising. And then everyone's like, oh, all the good cards, all the sick, nasty, extremely expensive cards. This card here is probably, from what I'm seeing, from what people estimated, somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million. So we got big money on the line here. Is it really a 10? I don't know. People are complaining about the centering. People are complaining about the fact that it might have been altered. It's looking a whole lot like it is very possible that this bad boy was altered because we got a shout out to a card altering business, a card altering supply business. Oh my God. Well, we're going to get into it. You can't make this shit up. I can't believe it happened. I can't believe how embarrassing this is. And I can't believe the grading company still hasn't fucking done anything about this shit. PSA, CGC, BGS, do you want to stand out? All right, well, invest in a method that all of your graders, every card that passes through you, can detect foreign substances. Holy shit, that is a wild thought. Holy shit, that would cost a lot of money. I know, but guess what? It would make you useful. Now, this is in the best interest of PSA as well, or CGC, or whoever's grading these cards, because all of a sudden, if years from now, the shit, all of a sudden it starts getting crusty, it starts showing wear, maybe any wax or residue that's left behind turns color and ruins the card, or any chemicals that are involved. And I know we're going to say, oh, yeah, but it's all, Kurt told me it was all natural. It came straight out of a bee's butthole. Yeah, well, when you're adding or removing substances, removing material from a card, especially when you're adding stuff, if you're filling in micro scratches and anything like that, how is that going to hold up over time? Stuff over time has a way of showing the time. If it's not original, it's going to show differently. It's bad news. And if that happens years from now, it could easily be the absolute destruction of one of these companies. They know that. These grading companies know that. Do they care because they're just trying to make a buck at the time? Maybe not. Do they care because they're probably not going to be involved at the company at the time that something goes wrong? Probably. That's the thing too. If this is the person that this hurts the most, is the person that is holding on to this stuff. It's not the flip dipper that's going to rub some jizz on his card, get a better grade, and sell it immediately. It's the person that's going to hold on to this thing, cherish it for years, and then all of a sudden it's fucked. And then if PSA's guarantee it has to cover that, they're fucked. Because if it's a mass amount of cards, and this is embarrassing to the point that it shows that they don't fucking have a system in place to recognize this shit. I'm embarrassed for all the articles that they want to put out, all the money that they want to invest in getting celebrities to come in there and pull their pants down. I mean, open their pockets and give them trading cards and grade them for them in person. Put that money in infrastructure and a method to detect this. It's bad enough that this stuff can be resubmit and you don't recognize it. Like, why is there not a database that automatically detects? And no, it's not fucking AI. It's just a database. It's a scan that's going to show you, hey, was this card submit already? Here's the imperfections. Here's the dimensions. This looks like this card that was already submit to us, but now all of a sudden it's colored in, or it's shorter, it's trimmed. I mean, my faith is like, you guys know, little to no faith in these grading companies and what they're doing, because when there's stuff that's trimmed, aka that Charizard that had way too much space in the case, that had the bottom lopped off of it, allegedly, by somebody that's a known trimmerino, known by the grading companies, known by the sports card world. What are we dealing with here? All right, let's get into the statement. We got to go through the details here. Yes, most of this is going to be sports related. We are going to touch a little bit on the Pokemon examples. This is all relative because, as you know damn well, once it's in sports, it's going to weasel its way into Pokemon because there's money there as well. We've seen that with the Charizard. We've seen that even if it's people that aren't into Pokemon, they're gonna grub up the Pokemon market too. Oh, man. All right. Ryan Hodge says, lots of conversations about this card in recent days. I got to hold it and its cousin while they were both in-house. PSA stands by the original assessment, and our graders did not detect anything with the surface to deem it altered. That said, I want to clarify, PSA does not approve of any chemicals or foreign substances being added to the surface of a card to improve the condition or appearance. If we detect that this has happened to any card, we will consider it altered. All right. So tell us what you did. What did you check? How did you check for that? How did you check for the foreign substances? Did you do a scan? Did you do some light tests on it? Surely a card that is $500,000 or more, it is getting the gauntlet. This thing should be through the absolute gauntlet of every tool and everything you have at your disposal. But that's the thing too. What does that look like? What happens if you reject it? What happens if they get these guys to come out there? I don't know if they flew or drove in with the card. And you turn them down, you say, no, this is altered. Then they go to your competition gets to say, oh, look at this thing that we graded. It's fucking sick nasty. So like there's huge benefits and huge incentive to PSA grading this thing. I mean, to the point that there's basically bidding wars on stuff that's like this. The One Ring, which was $2 million. So maybe it was double what this is or more. But again, they love this stuff. They love the big stuff. They want to grade the big stuff because it looks good. This instance does not look good. Now we're going to talk real quick about the PSA example. I don't know if Ryan is just like a talking head that is going to make some like nothing statements and nothing comes of it at any point. We have this bad boy here. We had the PSA employee that was making their own cards, their own unlicensed Pokemon cards, and chopping up the artist signature off of documents, shipping documents, etc., and making his own stuff, then getting it authenticated at his own place of employment. That's a wild photo of myself there, a little screenshot. And we had Ryan here who said that they addressed it, that they reached out to the artist, that they were actively engaging with the affected artist. They were not. I don't know if they have at this point in time. I have not heard anything of the sort. I don't think they have. Probably didn't. Did they ever? I don't know. I never heard back about it. You left a comment on here, Ryan. What happened? I mean, you left a comment here indicating that you actually did. You were actively engaging. Actively engaging is not, hey, we'll fucking do it at some point, maybe. All right. I know another episode of Rattle scolds the grading companies for stupid shit. Like it's common sense. Like, just if you want praise from me, who's never going to send you cards regardless, you have to do things that are actually beneficial. The stuff that they're doing is in their own self-interest. This grading stuff they shouldn't. This not investing in some way to detect the wrongdoers that are waxing up their cards, that are polishing up their cards. I know I need to remind everyone's like, oh yeah, it's just cleaning. No, it's not fucking cleaning. It's called polish for a reason. Look up what polish is. Polish is basically sandpaper. It's just creamier and less gritty. And it removes some of the surface. It removes some of that surface so that if there's a scratch in that surface, the rest of it is down lower, closer to what the scratch is. So it's less visible. Then you have waxes and everything like that will fill in those gaps. If you have scratches, it fills in the gaps. It's another substance that's on the card that isn't the actual card. It's not original. It's altered. And it's worth a fraction. Go ask anyone that's going to hold on to a card long term. Do you want the one that's been jizzed on by Kurt, or do you want the original one in the same condition? Oh, okay. You want the original one, the one that came out of the pack like that. I thought so. I don't want this shit. Same way people don't want marked cards. You want people using a blue marker on the back of your Pokemon cards to get rid of the white spots? Or do you want the real thing? And again, it doesn't matter. If people can get away with it, Kurt can be as fucking transparent as he wants. The person using the Kurt stuff is not going to be. The majority of the time. I think at Sports Card Radio, they have a 2-hour, I guess, live stream that they did last night covering this stuff in detail. Check that out if you haven't. They were giving a little bit of praise to Kurt for being transparent, but this is the same guy that, why do you think he fucking covers the cert numbers? Because they have potential to be deactivated. So that's the thing. The grading companies need to get on top of this before it becomes even more of an issue, because it's a huge issue already. It has been. They haven't done anything about it. They're sitting on their hands. They got thumbs up their butts. What are they doing? Show me. Grading company, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are in the total pool of Rattle respect. Show me. Please show me something that you're doing to actively inhibit or deny the cards that are coming in that have been waxed and smaxed. Show me. I want to hear. I want to see it. I would absolutely love to see it. We have all kinds of altered stuff going on. We've seen it before with the Pokemon stuff. It's the same thing. It's polish. It is altering. It is card altering. It's the same way that trimming a card is altering. The same way that adding blue, adding any kind of color to a card that was missing, hiding damage with a marker, with a pen, with any ink of any kind. It's altered, and it's worth just abysmally less. But that's where the bad actors come in. I don't give a shit about the grading companies. I don't think that they can tell me that my card is a 10 or a 9 or an 8 or 7. And then like everything below the 7 mark is just, you might as well just roll a 6-sided die. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that can be consistent. But what I do want to see from them, and something that is very achievable, is the fact that they should be actively looking into this stuff, finding a way to prevent the bad actors. And they're not. From what I can tell, none of them are doing this. CGC, fuck off with the error cards that you can't even prove if they're an error card, and go ahead, put something out. Put an article out about how you can detect when people are creaming their cards. I will make an entire dedicated video praising it, because it's important. It's something that's valuable. They may not see it as valuable. They'd rather have a bidding war on who gets to fly in and stroke the person that pulled a 1-in-1 magic card. Do something valuable, please. For the love of God. So we've seen that. We've seen even like the Bonnie Bowdangers shit where she was like promoting this card altering company in her Facebook group, and then she got all pissed off. I don't know what. Every time you criticize someone, they'll have some kind of excuse for it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm toxic or something. Maybe it's not her. It's not her fault that she's making money off of card altering, while trying to pretend she's for the community and all this other shit, like all the other celebrity fucking event people. Like, holy shit, unreal. Oh, speaking of yesterday, we had a tangent here. Yesterday with the video of the stuff that was being. Speaking of event people, the stuff that was being stolen at the LA Collecticon, Gary sent me a text and he told me that Dr. Applesauce's computer was stolen. Now, I would love to. I don't think Dr. Applesauce will talk to me about it, but I would love to hear a statement from him on whether that was all right or not. Since he's okay with cards being stolen from the factory or cards being stolen from distribution and purchasing those, would it have been all right for someone to purchase his laptop? And if so, why did he go have the police retrieve it with the tracker that was on it? Please, Dr. Applesauce, please explain that. All right, we're on one today. Happy Friday, by the way, guys. Holy moly. So here it is. Here is NorCal Sports Cards. The people that they're getting the credit for it. It wasn't him that pulled it. It was some guy that he knows that pulled it. But you know, you got to get credit for it. You got to get credit where credit isn't due. You got to go in there with them. If you're a sports card guy, if you're his connection, you got to make content out of it. This reminds me of like the Jacob and Jameel thing where like they do the hug, because they did the same thing in the room. We'll take a look at one of the clips here, one of the most important clips, but I don't want to play too much of that. We got to keep it fair use here on Rattle Pokemon, the channel. All right, so we got a little teaser here. We got a video dropping, 1/1 Wemby. They show that it's a Gem Mint 10. I don't know why they would tease that. Maybe they didn't know how to use the little blurry thing to make their thumbnail for it. There's a video here of them at the facility. Very cute. And then we have the photo here. You notice here we got a little weird. Why is this edited? Where were they editing? They say we pulled the Victor Wembanyama Black 1/1. I want to give a huge shout out to PSA Card and the team for giving us an amazing experience on the walkthrough grading. YouTube video drops tomorrow. So like this walkthrough grading to begin with, I kind of have my doubts on like it always looks sketchy. I know it's not as sketchy as Matt Quinn grading cards for Chumlee while he's sitting right next to him. But you think people don't know whose card it is? Are they just giving it to someone random? Are they grading it themselves? Do they have the head grader? Is the head grader not the one that brought the card in? I don't. It feels icky. It feels pretty icky. I do think that like with this valuable stuff, like if you have something that's $500,000, if you have something that's $1 million, you probably want to walk it in and out. I get that. But I guess maybe they just need to show that like, hey, this is the person doesn't know this person, that kind of thing. When it's big stuff like that, it's probably likely that the graders, whoever's grading it, especially if they're a head grader, as they like to tout, one of their best grader who's going to spend more than 30 seconds on it. I'd like to know how long the card was in for and what they did. I think similar to the CGC articles and we did this scan and this scan and this scan to say that this card that came from somebody that worked at WotC that might have a bunch of them that is secretly selling one. It's real. It's real and authentic. I want to see that on this kind of stuff. I want to see the scans. All right, let's get into the next one. So. Yes, we have something edited. That's a bad sign. So the cert number is very active. They did not deactivate it. PSA is going to stand by Ryan's words. Ryan's, again, mostly nothing statements, businessy nothing statements that say, hey, we didn't detect anything, so it's good to go. Never mind the fact that we got this Kurt's Card Care enthusiast. I personally, I would never buy a card from somebody. If I know this person is Kurt's Card Caring stuff, not even close to buying anything from them. At that point, like I would rather have a lesser condition copy than something that's been rubbed and scrubbed. It's altered. It's the same way I don't want something with ink on the back. I'm not picky on condition. I'm good with something that looks like it came out of a booster pack and wasn't perfect and isn't going to get the 10. I'm good. That is great. Like PSA 9 area, 8, 9 area. Ooh, give me those. Anything beyond that, kind of a waste of money, in my opinion. Again, at that point, you're collecting condition. Different story if you're looking for resale value and you want to get that extra bonerino out of it because you're selling it right away and you got to rub it up with Kurt's cream. Now, what do we got here? We have AIH Sports. If you haven't checked out AIH Sports, he is actively calling out, showing what kind of suspicious things are going on in the sports card world. And yes, Rattle, I have, I don't know how many hockey cards from when I was a kid. Most of them probably not worth anything. I did enjoy sports cards as a kid. I don't now. I don't really watch a whole lot of sports or anything either. I kind of gave up on it. It's weird. The NHL kind of sucks now. It's not good. It's not entertaining. It's not what it once was. Although maybe I was spoiled because I got to watch 1990s hockey where it was fighting, it was hitting, it was open ice hits. It was wild. There was goalie fights. Everything was going on. Now it seems like it kind of sucks. It's kind of boring. It doesn't have that same flavor to it. But nonetheless, oh, what is this? We have AIH Sports highlighting the fact that before that statement was edited, it said, "Want to give a huge shout out to a PSA Card and Kurt's Card Care." I guess it was in two separate posts here. So we had this one. Maybe what's up, guys? Yeah, this one too. Also edited. So weird that you messed up two of your statements there. And for a reason. You got rid of the shout out to Kurt's Card Care. Now what you didn't do is you didn't go take your YouTube video down You can't do that, or you won't get enough views. And there's this nice little clip here where you straight up, you're in PSA headquarters with an expensive card, with a $500,000 plus card that they just graded for you, and you're going to shout out the company that makes the cream to polish your cards. Blows my mind.
Hey, real quick though, I want to give a huge shout out to Kurt's Card Care. Kurt, if you're watching this, your product is phenomenal. Got lots of work.
Okay, so I don't know who is the most tone deaf here. Is it deaf, not death? I'm tired. Who thought this? Who did he think it was a good idea? Did PSA think it was a good idea? Did the people in the room, did anyone in the room say like, hey, it's a pretty bad idea to say that? If you did wax on this bad boy, you probably don't want to admit it in your video, and you probably don't want to mention it anywhere in your posts. Like, oh my God, it's worse than the Don Diego, like, oh, I accidentally won your item clip. Like this, it's right there. I mean, at this point, I guess like PSA can't say Texies backsies, but does this show like that they're incompetent, that they can't see this stuff? I want to know what the process is. I want to know what the process was on this specific card and whether or not they could determine if it's been creamed. It might have been creamed. It's weird. It's weird to shout out the creamer when you haven't creamed something. Like that would be the dumbest thing possible. That would be okay. So second most dumb thing that you could possibly do here is shout out the creamer because you creamed it, and then it's exposing you creaming the card. And then the number one most dumb thing is just below that on the intelligence scale would be to not cream the card, but then thank the creamer. What the fuck? You can't even make this stuff up. It blows my mind. Like, the whole thing is fucking sad. And the people that it hurts the most are the people that are holding high grade stuff, expensive stuff, in high grades that's probably altered. I mean, there's a ton of the older sports card stuff that's trimmed. There's before and after photos. If you guys, Blowout Forums does a lot of this work for the grading companies. All the work that they can't seem to do, or they can't be bothered to do because, you know, they have to pay people to do it. Blowout Forums is doing it for free. You got BODA, B-O-D-A, the Blowout Detective Agency, which is a group of guys that do this shit for free. It's free of charge. And these grading companies still don't take advantage of that. A lot of it has to do with the fact that, hey, if we deactivate this cert because it's very provenly trimmed, then we got to pay it out. Oh no, we don't want to pay money out. But they also don't want to pay money in advance to do the actual proper research, to measure the stuff, to look into the fact of whether or not it existed beforehand, where it came from, check the edges, all that kind of thing. So is it's a mixture of like not wanting to spend money and incompetence. Like, you can spend the money up front, prevent the jizzers, the card jizzers, Kurt's card jizzers, and avoid the whole thing in the future the same way that you could. Oh, I don't know. Everyone's like, yeah, what can you expect, Rattle? PSA's first card ever that they graded was trimmed. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying I have faith in these grading companies, because I don't. But I want to see them do the right thing every once in a while. Please, just do the right thing. Do something that's in the best interest of the collector. Not your flipper dippers that get to show up in person. Not the people that pull the big card that you want to get on. You want to get into your advertising. Do something for the people that actually collect, that actually want to find value in your plastic cases. Please. All right, let's look at some examples here, or I guess one particular example. And again, there's countless examples. You can go on Blowout. You can see before and after photos of these cards that have been trimmed, of these cards that have been altered, stains removed, all of that kind of thing. There's a whole lot of that going on. Yes, it's altering cards. You're adding a foreign substance, just as PSA, just as Ryan said in his statement. If you're waxing your cards, if you're polishing your cards, you're altering your cards. The same way if you add ink to them, the same way if you soak them, all of this other stuff. If you're adding something to the card, removing something from the card, you're altering the card. All right. Now we have Auburn 35 again, right in there with the blowout detectives. Says, looking at the text of the PSA, we got a post that was deleted. Looking at the text, the PSA 10 cert referenced, as well as the prior PSA 8, are both still active. Crazy dog, zany face. Okay, we're learning something today. I didn't know that you could hover over emojis that you don't know the name of on Twitter, and it will tell you what it is. Unfortunately, as Nat previously discussed, the Genamint fingerprinting still isn't in production. Assuming it will be utilized, that day can't come soon enough. So a lot of these examples are like blatantly obvious because it'll be like a signature that just is never going to be replicated. It'll have marks on it, it'll have centering, it'll have all these details, or foil in certain locations that should be easily cataloged and hasn't been cataloged because of the expense. They don't need to do that if people are just going to blindly trust them with all of this stuff. I don't know why I'm not on this account following Tiffany Cards. Follow Tiffany Cards as well. I think they have a database of altered cards. So again, someone that's doing the work for free for these grading companies, and I'm sure it would be happy to share that information. And they share it publicly anyway, so there's no excuse for it. These grading companies have to go out of their way to avoid the posts about it. And then, we don't know about the database. What? We can't take that information into account. When you have 7,000 altered cards, which are, most of them are probably going to be valuable if someone's going to take the time and effort to do something to them. And then that's the thing too. It's just like the altered card might be inexpensive in the beginning. Like, look at a lot of the Pokemon cards that trim Charizard, and then all of a sudden it's worth a whole lot more money. When you have something that was $10,000 that turns into $200,000, and it's altered, and you gotta pay out a PSA guarantee on that bad boy. I haven't checked that Charizard, but it's probably also still active, even though even from the images you can tell that fucking thing is trimmed, in my opinion, allegedly. Now, what do we got here? We got the there it is. We got the cert, still very active. Again, this bad boy has been shown to be altered by Kurt's Card Care, and voila, nothing done about it. Again, Kurt he'll show like the labels. I don't know, he's cutting his labels so that people don't reuse them. How very honest and noble of him. And then also he got him in this live here, I guess kind of touting or kind of joking around about, oh look, I got shouted out, guys. They cream with my cream, guys. They cream with my cream. Don't be a creamer. Fuck off with this stuff. Grading companies, it's on the table. Fucking fix this shit. Prove that there's some value. Otherwise, like, you're probably better off buying stuff that's not graded, because anyone that's creaming this stuff is looking to get a higher grade. So maybe raw is the option. Raw is the best option, I guess, at this point in time. If the grading company can't assure you that this thing isn't altered, just buy raw cards. That's what I made. This affects me way less than it does other people, because most of what I'm purchasing, I'm either opening myself or I'm buying it raw. And if I am buying it graded, it's probably not in a grade that it was affected. Still, even if you're buying that stuff, be careful if you're buying something graded and you're cracking it, because you crack that thing out, it's inked or whatever. They're not going to guarantee it, because they're going to say, oh, it's out of the case. Even if you have it on video, it doesn't matter. They're gonna do anything in their power to not pay out on the PSA guarantee or anything else. So be careful on that end of things too. Make sure you learn this stuff. The grading company hasn't learned this stuff or hasn't implemented any of it, so you need to be on the lookout. Hopefully, maybe we can find a home remedy to detecting this stuff, so people can do it themselves, because the grading company apparently doesn't want your money. None of them seem to. Well, they're going to blindly get money anyway, but all right. Thanks for tuning in. Join the Discord. See you next time. Again, happy Friday. Take care of each other out there. Stay away from the creams. It's not worth it. Don't do it. Stay away from creamers. If you see anyone that's creaming, send them my way. Send me a little DM with the creamer, and I'll make sure that they get onto the cream list.